The South African Human Rights Commission has caused controversy by ruling that a string of controversial, racially charged remarks by a prominent left-wing politician do not constitute hate speech. Critics of Julius Malema had alleged that he was inciting violence against white people in the country.
The Commission came to the conclusion that while the acts forming the subject of these complaints may be quite offensive, they do not meet the legal threshold to qualify as hate speech.
Well, Julius Malema is a leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters Party, which argues that black South Africans continue to face systemic discrimination. He's previously been convicted of hate speech. In 2012, he was expelled from the African National Congress, the country's ruling party. Here are some of his statements that have caused controversy.
I don't want blacks to work for whites. I want you to work for yourselves, and white people will work for you. That will be true freedom. You must teach them how to carry babies on their back. They must feel what our parents have been feeling. We are not calling for white people to be killed, but for white people to be our domestic workers.
Whites, we don't care about their feelings. We are not beating them up. They must be happy. We are not calling for genocide.
I'm saying to you, we have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Well, to discuss the court's decision, we have South African political analyst Josh Noltelowitz. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you on the programme today. No indication of hate speech found, according to the Commission, in Malema's addresses, regardless of what one thinks of him. It's a controversial decision. How do you think this is going to affect communities and politicians across the country? What's the reaction to this going to be?
Well, I think this is going to open up for a lot more people on the radical sort of black left of South Africa. It's going to give them a lot more freedom to say more controversial things. Because even though Mr. Malema claims not to have called for things like genocide and what have you, his comments have still been quite extreme. He has sang songs about killing farmers, and he has specifically said that he is not yet calling for the slaughter of all white people, which is, in my opinion, it's almost genocidal, but not quite there yet. I think the reaction on the right that the right wing of South Africa that we've been seeing has been heavily critical, because this is obviously something that is it's unprecedented, really, that someone would be able to get away with comments like this. If someone on the right wing were to say something like this, an example, maybe a politician from, say, the conservative Freedom Front Plus were to say a comment something similar about black people, he would be sent to jail, possibly, for the comments that he's made. We've seen examples of this, of people who have made comments similar to Mr. Malema's and have been sent to jail over it. The only difference is that they happen to be white people committing the so-called crime of hate speech against black people, as opposed to being black people against white people.
And Mr. Malema has, of course, been convicted of hate speech in the past. He was expelled from the ANC, as we know. I mean, how do you think the South African Commission came to this decision? Do you see this as some form of, reverse racism, as some analysts and pundits are saying?
So, first of all, I want to dismiss the term reverse racism, because I don't think there is such thing as racism being a one-way thing. Like with all forms of discrimination, it's always a thing that can be applied in all acts of discrimination against, with one group against another. And really, I am baffled as to why they came to this conclusion. Either it is because they politically sympathize with Mr. Malema, or they are afraid of him because they know that his political party continues to grow in popularity, and they worry that they will be on the wrong side of Mr. Malema should he ever gain more power.
OK, great stuff. Josh Noltelowitz, political analyst, thanks for your take today on that story on RT International. Thanks for your time.